Hey, what's happening, guys? It's Dave here, and today we're going to cover 8 of the coolest apps I have found for musicians. These are some that I've been using for years, some of them that I've discovered in this process. All of them are going to be worth your time, so you're going to want to stick around. And as always, if you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. It makes the world go round. Let's get at it. First up is Tempo. This is one of my favorite metronomes I've used. I recommend it for all my students. I use it on the daily for years. I've been practicing with it and gigging with it. It's pretty great. So if we take a look at the screen, you got bubbles to represent the beats. So you can, highlight those. You can turn them on and you can turn them off, accent them differently. Generally what I like to do is kind of turn them all off just so it's just kind of a generic click, so you don't have to wait for one to come back around. But if you're really worried about staying in time, that's a really great feature to have. You can go plus or minus 1. You can hold down to go in increments of 10 or up, which is great. You have some basic time signature options. You can even subdivide, so you can do eighth notes, triplets. This here is a triplet with the thing in the middle. That's eighth note missing. That's a swing beat. That's a great feature if you're trying to swing. 60 notes, you get the idea. Another amazing feature on this that I really love is the automator. If you click on that, you can set this up so it speeds up by either bars or time. So for instance, I like to do by time. If I'm practicing a scale and I just want to slightly but surely bring that tempo up, I usually go like 3 clicks, maybe every 15 seconds, 12 seconds, depends on what I'm practicing. And then it'll just slowly but surely get faster and faster and see if you can kind of hang on. It's a great thing to test your upper limits. So the paid version's got a couple good upgrades. You got a set list feature, which is great for drummers actually on gigs. If you're kind of need to keep track of every song, you're using it for a click in your ear. You've got, if you're just practicing, that's great. You don't want to have to set the tempo for every song that you're working on. You can just plow right through the set list. It's got some more time signatures too options, which is great. Most people don't need it, but here's a little trick that's a great practice exercise. If you hit 4/4, you scroll down to 8/4, you get 2 bars of 8. What? No, you just get 1. I can do math. So if we take the click off of the second row, you'll have 1 bar on and 1 bar off, and honestly, that's one of the best things you can do to keep in time. All right, next up on the list is Drum Beats plus Rhythm Machine. This one is a little expensive. It's $7.99. Some people don't like to spend anything. I get it. But if you are serious about your timing and want to groove or just practice chords or anything, it's a really, really great app. It's got a whole bunch of different drum beats that you can go through. I mean, it's kind of overwhelming. There's so many. What I would definitely recommend is finding the ones you like and starring them. But unfortunately, it does not let you rearrange these. So you want to be careful when you're starting to star these. Prioritize the ones you know you're going to need at the top. I definitely recommend, where are we at? I definitely recommend basic training, 4/4 straight, 4/4 shuffle, 3/4 straight, 3/4 shuffle, and 6/8 kind of at the top. Basic grooves that you know are going to apply to a lot of things you're working on. And then you can go and explore some of the other stuff and see if you dig it. Some of the things that I love are, you can practice dynamics, so 2 bars on of loud, 2 bars soft. You can practice straight eighth notes to swung eighth notes, and you can drop bars too. So you can do 3 bars on, 1 bar off, 2 bars on, 2 bars off. Same kind of concept I was talking about with tempo, but now with a drum beat. One thing I would recommend is hitting settings. I like a count in, so I go with 1 bar wooden block, and then definitely hide pro previews. They're just gonna confuse you. There's a whole bunch in there. You don't want to spend more. Setting this up can be a little bit of it. It'll ask you to just plow right through it and make sure you don't spend any more money after the initial thing. I mean, you can if you want. Obviously, I recommend it, but this has got plenty to keep me busy. Lots of great feels, really inspiring for songwriting too. If you just need to hear a beat, literally any reason you would need a drum beat, this is a go-to on the regular for me. Next up is Ultimate Guitar. This has been a website for years, and I'm sure if you've ever looked up any tab or chords, that this is pretty much the first thing that pops up every time. Great website. Stupid amount of songs you can choose from, whether it's just chord charts, tab, or even Pro, which will let you kind of play through the song. It'll play through the tab, the MIDI. You can raise parts up, bring other parts down. So if you want to hear the electric guitar a little more, you can. You can make set lists. There's a whole list of things here. Let me look off camera and read it. 1.4 million tab. You can watch YouTube lessons. There's here, if I go through the app, we can, you can obviously search collections and albums, genres. It even has tuners in it. I've never used them, but chord library, all that fun stuff. Really, really helpful thing. Again, most of the thing I'm using this for is just finding charts. Especially I use Guitar Pro for my students, so it's definitely the biggest resource of Guitar Pro that I can find. It's been slowly but surely expanding into a lot of different things over the years. I guess there's shorts. You can pay, $10.99 or $9.99 per month for courses and get courses. There's a paid version for the subscription that I forget I paid for it, but I'm not even sure why I didn't. No, there was definitely some reasons, I just can't remember. But I would say just utilize the free version, go on the website. If you run into something that you'd like to accomplish that you can't, then maybe it's worth throwing down on the extra money per month. This is also going to work great with my next app that I'm going to recommend, which is OnSong. OnSong is just a chart reader, primarily for gigging musicians, popular musicians who just need like chords and lyrics. So what's great about this is you can make set lists. You can directly import chord charts from Ultimate Guitar into that. So you need a chord chart, you pull it in, you can then edit it, you can change the key, you can do a whole bunch of different things. But it's super powerful. You got a metronome. You can set it as a timer so it'll scroll for you. You can share it with other bandmates. A lot of great features. I actually used to use this with, you can have MIDI triggers too. So like for instance, I was using the drum beat pedal, and I could press play on the iPad, which would then send a signal to the MIDI pedal for the drum beat and kick that off. Really, really, really powerful stuff. Definitely been using it for all my solo gigs and all those fun little bar, just need a tune real quick kind of a thing. Next up is Piascore. This is sort of an alternative to OnSong, but more geared towards PDFs. So if you're a gigging musician, like a jazz musician who tends to work out of the real books, this is a great little thing to have. For years I used Fourscore, which is a great app. But I realized as I was making this video that it's now $20, and I realized it might be steep for some of you. So in researching this, I came across Piascore. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And honestly, this thing is just as good, and it's free. There's some upgrades, but for what it does, the annotation isn't as good. Like you can use a pencil on it, you can write on the charts, which is great. But you don't have as many options as Fourscore. But you can make set lists, you can move things around. Again, you can annotate, which is great. You can even take photos of charts and upload the PDF into PDFs and convert them into PDFs, I should say. And the coolest feature about this, so usually when you're a gigging musician, you got two hands taken care of, you need somebody to turn the page. Up until now, you have Bluetooth, right? But with this app, and by Bluetooth, I mean foot pedals that you can move back and forth. You know what I'm saying? With this app, you can literally just wink right or left, and it'll freaking turn the page for you. It's awesome. It totally works. I have no complaints with it. For $5.99, you can upgrade and you can get unlimited capture, so you can upload unlimited scores. You can also export them as well, which is probably a great feature for some of you. It also gives you more options for the keyboard and the tuner and recording functions. You can record some audio right onto the chart, which is nice. You can, there's various reasons you would want to do that, whether you just need to make a note for somebody or just even record yourself playing and come back and see if you can do better the next time and just hear where you're at. I don't know. You can get creative with it, but totally worth it for $3. You should get that one. Our next app is Tenuto. which I just discovered during this, and this thing is freaking sweet. Let's take a look. Essentially, this is a great for any real musician who's really trying to understand how to read the staff, how to train your ear, rhythm dictation, all that fun stuff. So it'll do no identification for just general staff and letters, but it'll also do it for piano. You can figure out staff construction, so like it'll quiz you and you have to build it as opposed to just recognizing what it tells you. Fretboard identification, honestly, this is probably one of the best fretboard identification apps, and it's not even dedicated to it. It's better than some of the ones that are dedicated to it. It just allows you to really customize, so you can customize exercise, which is great about all of these. So for instance, let's say you only want to deal with, frets 1 through 5, and you only want to deal with strings, the first 3 strings, and maybe you only want to deal with notes. So you come in and you just select it. So you let's say you're quizzing yourself on finding notes that are only in the G major pentatonic scale. You can do that. Only on the 3rd string from frets 5 to 12, because why not? You can do that. It's super helpful. What else we got? Calculator. So like if you're do not use this to cheat on your theory test, but if you're trying to figure out what a minor fourth isn't a thing. Why did I just say that? Actually, James Joyce wrote Diminished Fourth in Artist as a Young Man, or Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man. And that's why I didn't like it, because that's just a major third, and he was trying to make it sound dissonant, and that is not dissonant. It's very pretty. So I was like, no, I knew you were trying to sound too smart. Anyway, so this will help you figure out what it is. If you need a minor 6 above A, it'll tell you it's an F. You can figure it out. Next up is Moises AI, or Moses. This guy is pretty incredible. You upload a track, it separates the different instruments, and then you can either bring some down or bring some up in the mix. You can drop them out completely. Basic free version gets you 5 songs a month, and thereafter they can only be up to 5 minutes. So that might be somewhat limiting to some of you. $5.99 upgrade, or $40 for the year. Totally worth it if this is what you're looking for. You can make playlists. You can export these tracks, which is great too. So for instance, like if I'm in here and I want to pack it up, here is a normal. And if I just here's no drums. It's crazy. You want to be the singer, you can be the singer. Take the bass out. So, sometimes there's just the bass and drums to kind of groove with. Super helpful, super helpful. Again, if you want to upgrade, you get unlimited uploads. You can have better, higher quality audio separation, as well as more separation. You can separate it down to the kick versus the snare even. It also has generative chords and AI, so that'll go up for like 20 measures or something, and then it just kicks you off on the free version. But if you're willing to pay, it'll generate chords that you can kind of play along to. Similar to Chordify.net, if you don't know that, that's a great one. But super accurate, super great. You can slow things down, I think, or speed them up. Or I might be thinking of a different app. I totally thought of a different app. Forget about that. All right, last up on our list is honestly one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. This is Chord AI. Didn't even know this existed until I started making this video. But you can pull in a song from YouTube, free, right? It'll analyze it. It'll give you the lyrics. It'll give you the chords. You can watch the sound waves go by, so you can kind of cue it up like this. You can click on there and you can see the chords go by, so it's like a play along chart. You can speed it up and slow it down. You can change the pitch. You can loop it. Kind of crazy. You can separate the mix. I've never tried this, but apparently we're doing it. No, I'm on. we're not going to worry about that right now. Probably similar to Moses, but I won't vouch for it just yet because I haven't actually tried it. You can, save songs. You can record your own thing. This is what's crazy, actually. This feature right here. So you can record yourself playing, and it'll analyze the chords. But what's great about that is it'll allow you to adjust for a capo, which is fine. You know what shape you're playing. But then it made me think. It's like if you're one of those songwriters or performers that plays songs and sings, but they don't really know. As soon as they put a capo on, you have no idea what you're playing. This thing will tell you what you're playing. It'll chart it out for you. It'll tell you the tempo, and you can export it as a PDF for some of your people that you're working with. So great, so cool. It's got a dictionary too, which is nice, so you can find like chords. So G. And it just like pops up. It gives you a whole bunch of options. You can click a key here and it'll show you what chords go together. So great for just concepts of like what you might want to work with and an inspiration to kind of write something perhaps as well. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want this. Honestly, so another bonus thing, there's a plugin for Chrome called Transpose. I've been recommending it for my students for years. It's great. It does the same thing essentially, but you have to be on a web browser, right? Now you don't with Chord AI. This thing is sweet. Definitely want to get it and enjoy it. All right, guys, that'll do it for this list. Hopefully you found them helpful. Hopefully you discovered something new that helps you practice in new and exciting ways, or helps you inspire you to write something new or come up with something new. I always want to hear about it. Please comment below if you came up with something cool. Also, a lot of these are just for iOS only, unfortunately, because I'm an iOS guy, so that's what I'm looking out for apparently. So if like especially Drum Beats Plus, I've tried to find Android equivalent for the students, but I don't have an Android app, so I don't really have an option to explore them. So if you know of a good alternative to one of the apps that I mentioned, please put it in the comments below for the community, and we'll see you next time.